welcome to Summoner's Rift. Today I will be playing Ryze top lane versus an Aurelia top lane. So let's jump in and see how this goes. Naturally I will be focusing primarily on top lane and my own plays and overall laning presence and teamfight presence. The other lanes of the game are Masteries jungle on my side versus a Fiora jungle, a Vel'Koz mid lane versus a Katarina, and Graves Alistar bot lane versus a Twitch Morgana. So anyway, let's just jump in and see how this goes. So Alistar wanted to invade, I'm like, okay, that's fine, we'll invade. But it goes interestingly, so let's see. So Fiora's down below, as we can see here, and Vel'Koz is off to the left, and gets spotted due to the ward that Fiora puts down. Now, the problem with this is Vel'Koz was very slow. I was kind of slow as well, but fast enough that I got into this bush before Fiora spot me. So Vel'Koz gets spotted, and Fiora just backs the hell off. Alistar then flashes and pulverizes, and then we're like, well, we're not going to burn flash for this. There's no point. So their Twitch burns heal to get her away, and we're like, okay, fine. So we burn Alistar's flash and exhaust to half health Fiora, and she's got enough time to back off and go heal and everything. So it makes no difference. So if anything, I just got a bit of gold due to auto attacks because I'm running the mastery point in utility, which means that upon auto attacks on a champion I gain 3 gold every, I think there's an 8-second cooldown or something like that. So naturally I'm running 9-0-21. I am running mana blue runes, health yellow runes, mixed penetration reds, and movement speed quints. The reason for this being, Ryze is all about being able to move around the lane, move around team fights, and generally sort of move between spellcasts and not be standing still for too long. So the move speed helps with that. He doesn't need a lot of other stats from a quintessence, so movement speed makes sense. It also lets him get away from ganks easier, lets him harass easier because he can chase someone down a little bit easier, he can land his stuff in during fights. So, okay, let's now look at this lane matchup overall and the implications and the reasonings behind why you pick such and such. So, Ryze overall does okay against Aurelia. Aurelia overall though wins this lane. Now, I made the mistake here of queuing her, so she then stunned me, and she got 2 auto attacks. Because I'm not running defensive runes as such, except for the health, she did half my HP bar with just E and 2 auto attacks. So, it's very important for Ryze to space himself correctly in lane, so that he doesn't get molested in the first, like, few levels of the lane. So once again, I placed myself a little bit badly, and Aurelia comes towards me. Now, overall, what Aurelia did was actually very, very good. The problem was, she chased me too far into my own minions, and basically she lost, probably looking at like about half a HP bar to minions. One of those minions being a cannon minion, so naturally she just basically disappeared. Now, naturally I should have backed after that. I shouldn't still be in this lane. I should have backed, but I wanted to stay because the Masteries was invading the Fiora's jungle. So I wanted to be around in case he needed my assistance. So but he solo kills the Fiora, even though Fiora's running Ignite and not Flash. So that's fine. And then I'm thinking about backing at this point. And then Master Yi stays around and heals up with his meditate, and I'm like, actually we could kill her. So I come into lane and come through the ward, and Mashi goes around the other side, and she jumps, which is good for her, but I get in range, do some movement speed quints, and rune prison her. I then start to shove in this lane as quickly as possible, because although I need to back really badly, I also need to shove this in so that I can deny her some XP due to her using her TP level 2. So I now back, I get my tier of the air, and I get my Ruby Crystal and Sapphire Crystal. I also get myself a ward and some pots. I'm running the Biscuit Mastery points so that health pots are more effective. The reason being it's very important for me to keep up in lane and keep my health bar going, and sometimes you may need to use your pots to keep that going. Not to say that Ryze isn't the only champion you should buy pots on, but like I just needed, it makes more sense because I'm going into the Master Trio anyway and there's not many other points that are worth taking. It's just a useful point to have on Ryze from a lane perspective. So anyway, at this point I realised that she's in that bush. I know she is because I went off and used both my trinket ward and my ward that I bought. So I'm fine with that, whatever. At this point, I'm pretty much fine in this lane. I'm just freezing it just outside of my tower and just letting her minions push in a little bit, and then the moment she comes in towards me, I can cast spells on her, I can start harassing her. So I'll just eventually outlast her. Because I can just auto attack to the last hit. My tier is still stacking very slowly, and then pretty much her aim is to basically jump on a minion, get the farm, and then stun me, and then just walk away. Because it's long enough of a stun that I'm not able to necessarily chase her down afterwards. Not without boots at any rate. So at this point, I know Aurelia's just gone off to mid lane. I knew because she just appeared on the pink ward, and she hadn't been in lane for a few seconds. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just quickly push this. I use my ult, only on 3 creeps, which isn't very effective, but it pushed the wave fast enough that I got it under her tower, and suddenly she loses about 3-4 minions worth of XP. I'm level 6, she's level 5 at this point. I accidentally Q a minion there. I would have been in a much better state if I hadn't, but overall it's fine. I've got enough of an advantage. So she continues to jump towards me and then jump out, stun me and such, and I'm like, that's fine. She's now running low on mana. Sadly I'm out of my pots now, so I'm relying on not being in a position where she can do a huge amount to me, but it's fine because I know she's and she then flashes into this bush and I'm like, okay, fine. So I stick a ward in there just in case she makes some crazy juke. She just stands in that bush and I'm like, fine, Q, W, kill her, then walk off back to the lane and start pushing. Now, one thing that she does sort of right, but I wouldn't have tried it, is at this point she TPs onto the ward that she put as I was chasing her. Because I stay a little bit too long, because I'm trying to shove this in. I'm like, fine, okay, I'll just walk down, whatever. So her TP is now on a longer cooldown than mine, because I'm going to TP back into lane, because I need, or at least I think I do. But if I did, I'd have a shorter cooldown on mine. Master G wants to give me the blue, but I'm like, I need to back. I need to get items quite badly, and if I mess around getting that blue, it'll only waste time and time that I need to spend in lane farming. So I just go back, I get myself a blasting one catalyst, some more pots, and TP. But Master Chief still wants to give me the blue. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll come and take the blue. That's fine by me. So I come along, I take the blue, quickly, boom, and I go back up to the lane. I lose my cannon minion because of it, but that's fine. At this point, I don't know where Aurelia is though. So I'm thinking, well, I could push it or I could freeze it at this point, because I either deny her some farm by getting my creeps to kill hers while she's not here, or I shove it in the hope that she's disappeared off and that she won't be here anytime soon. I opt to semi-freeze the lane. Sadly, I kind of fail here. It's not a proper freeze as such, and it's not gonna freeze in big enough of a way on the next wave for me to stop her from getting creeps, and then I sort of tank one minion and that stops it completely. I also know that my team, Masteries, is over there fighting the Fiora in her jungle. I'm like, I really should go down there, but I need to keep this. I need to keep stacking up my minions now. But I go down anyway, and then Masteries sadly dies to the Aurelia's ult, and I'm like, okay, I can't. Even though I'm 2 levels ahead, and she's now got red buff, and she still actually has the ability to kill me. She's got no ult though, which I should have took into account, because I'd be able to harass her a lot more. If she had ult, she'd be able to jump on me and pretty much 100 to 0 me quite easily, I'd have thought. I might be able to win the fight because of blue buff. It's just very risky with her red buff. So she keeps on trying to walk towards me, and I just step back. I cast a spell, step back, and that's all I do.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I don't go too far, and I don't go too far back. I just keep dipping in, throwing a Q, throwing an auto attack, get that free gold, you know, and basically trying to keep her at bay, keep her from getting the farm. At this point now, Vel'Koz is up here roaming, and I know that the Katarina is going to come. I'm pretty certain now, because Vel'Koz is spending far too much time up here. So the moment I see her, I'm like, no, back. And he's too far forward under the tower, so he gets himself killed, basically. It was his own doing. He was under the tower too far, and he basically just let Aurelia walk up to him and stun him. So Aurelia is semi getting back in the game, but she's not quite. She's still struggling. I'm still denying her a little bit CS, not as much as I probably could. Now at this point, I also know that she's in her lane side bush, which is fine. So I go stick a ward in there quickly just to double check that she hadn't backed, because if she had, I would have quickly shoved in this lane. But because she hasn't, I just stay, and I just start doing this, and then Katarina TPs, and I'm like, okay, well, it was nice knowing me, but I'm dead. So, TP from the Katarina, my team gets the mid tower, fine, okay. They get some more damage on the mid tower, on the inner mid tower. Have a little argument with this Fiora. Sadly, they die because of the Twitch appearing. But either way, I come back up. I get my Rod of Ages. I get another Sapphire Crystal to build into a Glacial Shroud for my eventual Frozen Heart. I keep my distance. I don't want to, because if I got caught there, I'd have died easily. Katarina's got an insane amount of damage at this point. So I step back and I go TP back top. I know that Aurelia is there. I walk up to her because I wanted to bait her. Alistair then hastily flashes and misses the full rifle. And I'm like, well. Alistair then chases a little bit too far and dies for it. Basically, it was partly my mistake, partly his mistake. He went too far. Now, Katarina's on the other side of my tower. I know who she is. I'm like, fine, okay, I'll just step over here and start recording. I know Aurelia's coming as well. I also know that she's very low on mana, and I know Katarina's not going to come through the tower. So, fine, whatever. She asked for her death, essentially. She was and she was in a terrible situation. Absolutely terrible. Like, Katarina wasn't going to come through the tower to help, because Katarina probably would have died as well if she did. So I basically just saw it as an opportunity to get a free kill, and then I backed afterwards. Fine, whatever. I get my Glacial Shroud, I go back up top. I buy myself a pink ward and a green ward for the sake of covering my lane, and Yi kindly gives me another blue buff. And then Alistair makes the call to do Baron. I'm like, okay, this could work. The Master Yi is actually very, very big, and Alistair can tank it quite easily, and Graves does quite a lot of damage, so yeah, it makes sense to do this. It's fine, we can do this. So we kill that. Aurelia foolishly is too far forward in her lane again, with no knowledge of where we are. We run up, using Talisman Ascension from the Alistar, and find her, kill her. Okay, cool. And then we just push up the waves and go for this tower. Because it's free at this point, there's nothing they can do. And then we continue to push up, because there is no reaction from the enemy team. Absolutely none. We got the Baron buff for free without them knowing about it. We killed the Aurelia, we got the first outer tower, and then there's a TP to that tower. Like, the Aurelia was TPing to it and must have known that it was going to die. Like, there is no reason why it wouldn't have died. We were all attacking it, and it was like quarter health when she started TPing. So we then catch up the Katarina and continue to use this Baron buff. So we continue forward, and we start taking this tower, and then we push in a little bit more, and just continue like this, essentially. All off of one call to get Baron sneakily. We get that, we then take the inhib, and then we just back off. We've got no reason to be here anymore. Although we would win the fight, there's a dragon to go take for free, and there's waves to clear up at some point, and we have an awful lot of gold that we need to go spend. At this point I'm sitting on 1.9. Yeah, it's sitting on like 2k gold, if not more. Which is an absolutely insane amount, but considering we did just take 4 towers, an inhib, and a Baron and a dragon, I'm not surprised. We also took 2 kills, and then because of all that gold, I get myself my Frozen Heart, I get some more wards, and go back to mid lane. Aurelia's going top lane and taking that tower, fine, whatever. I could have potentially gone off and TP'd to protect it, but it's fine. So I sensed their blue would be up. I was pretty certain something was going to be down here, so I came in, and Fiora decided, let's fight the Ryze. And naturally, I killed her for it. I grabbed out my great big book of pain, and I said, well, it is your turn to die. So I killed her, and then we killed the Morgana as well, and the Twitch. And we continue to push, but this time in bot lane. Fine. We get 3 objectives, and they're not contesting us because they are 3 men down, and we've still got Baron buff until just now, pretty much. Okay, cool. We take another inhib. Aurelia is still top lane, still pushing all on her own, and we leave the bottom inhib, because we know that 3 of them are up, and although we could once again probably win the fight, it's not worth the risk. There's objectives to go take. So Masteries once again kindly gives me the blue buff. I go back, and I buy myself my Source Boots, and I get a Ruby Crystal towards getting either a Spirit Visage or a Banshee's Veil. I'm probably going to go for Banshee's Veil due to the nature of the team. Like, just blocking a Morg Binding would be insane at this point, or even just blocking some initial damage. Although, thinking about it now, Spirit Visage would make more sense, but I'm never going to get to that stage to buy it anyway. So I go top, where my team is already pushing. They get that tower about me, and then Aurelia makes a hasty engage and dies for it, and then I continue to chase down this Katarina down here a little bit, and then we go towards the inhib. But Masteries is already pushing, so we're like, fine, okay, we'll just go over here, kill the rat, the Twitch, and then Katarina kills Graves. Fine, whatever. We kill the Katarina. More Gults, I walk out of the range of it, and then, yeah. Masteries basically just sits there, doesn't die ever. And, yeah, we win due to basically one Baron call. We won because of the Baron call, essentially. And we won, like, 40 seconds before it even respawned, so that shows, like, it lasted 23 minutes of the game. We basically snowballed a lead due to one play. Although a lot of lanes were already ahead, Vel'Koz's lane was actually behind for most of the game. It's just, essentially, we picked him up and put him on our backs and dragged him through the game. Master G got huge, I got quite big, Graves got quite big, Alistair was just Alistair, and yeah, overall there we played very well, we used strengths, we took the Baron very early, and we took it to the win. And with that, I say thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video.